Hello YouTube, this is Froogle and this is the Frooglesim news for today, Sunday, April the 29th, and a different format this week. It's going to be largely editorial because I only want to cover one news story. That story being that this week, Dovetail Games announced the end of Flight Sim World. Before I get into my editorial bit, let's just go ahead and look at the announcement here. So here's what they said. It is with great sadness that we announce the future closure of Flight Sim World. Now, they go on to say that they always had a strong ambition to bring a new experience into the world of flight simulation, one that they say would overhaul the flying experience and the graphical fidelity, offering new ways to fly. Here's the key. After many detailed discussions, remember that phrase, we're going to get into that in the editorial. After many detailed discussions, we regrettably don't see a clear direction that will allow us to keep to the development time we'd want, meaning they don't see a way of releasing everything in the foreseeable future, alongside the player numbers we need. Now, that's an important point as well, because a number of us had spotted on the Steam charts, just extrapolating numbers and comparing. X-Plane, for example, has been consistently outselling Flight Sim World ever since Flight Sim World released, and X-Plane was released before Flight Sim World. Anyway, we're sure you have a lot of questions, according to them, so here's what's going to happen. If you already own Flight Sim World, it will remain in your Steam library forevermore, and you'll continue to be able to use it. The sim will be taken off sale from Steam on May the 24th, at which point you won't be able to buy it anymore, so they're encouraging you to go buy it now. And they said what will happen to any add-ons? Well, add-ons will also come off sale, but those you already own will still be in your Steam library. You should go buy them now. We hope you can give the team the respect they deserve for their tireless hard work today. You know what? I can give the team the respect they deserve for their hard work done today. I'm a developer. I've got 30 years experience developing, written countless books and articles and everything else, and run companies and development teams. I know what it's like to be a developer on a project that gets cancelled. And that's what's happening to the Flight Sim World team here. Their project just got cancelled, not through any fault of their own, probably because of management decisions along the way, I'm guessing. And so now who knows, maybe some of them have lost their jobs, maybe some of them have moved over to other teams, but kudos and respect to those guys for tackling a very tricky genre, and a genre with a very, very passionate and vocal user base as well. So kudos to the development team. Much respect. I hope you guys land on your feet. Now let's look at Flight Sim World as a brand in general, and Dovetail Games as a whole, because I don't know. I've taken some flack over the years for not being supportive of Dovetail Games, and I've taken some flack for not being supportive of Flight Sim World. Initially, it was Flight School, and I wasn't very supportive of it. I knew that Flight School was a preview of what was to come with Flight Sim World. Turns out that preview was more, prophetic than we thought, in that Flight School was cancelled and pulled from Steam, and if you owned it, oh well, bye, there it goes if you didn't, and then they replaced it with another product, that product being Flight Sim World, which now has been cancelled and is about to be pulled from Steam. Bear in mind also, so anyway, let me go back, let me continue my train of thought, which I'm about to lose, by the way. I've always been down on them because here's why. Let me explain why I've been so down on Dovetail Games. And I've said this before, and I've taken flack for it, and I really don't care if I get flack for it again. I'm not sponsored by Dovetail or any other software manufacturer. I really don't care. The reason I was down on them is our genre, the genre that I am passionate about, that this channel was built about, is based on the long-term success of FSX, or Microsoft Flight Simulator. And that success continued even after Microsoft killed the product. Microsoft killed the product for pretty much the same reasons that Dovetail have just said here, in that they don't see a way of getting the numbers that they need, behind the product, they don't see a way of continuing development. Anyway, Microsoft killed it. The community continued to support it. Now, when I say community, there are two aspects to that. There are the people that produce add-ons, and I'm lumping the commercial ones and the freeware ones all together. The people that produce add-ons continued to produce add-ons. In fact, the level and quality of those add-ons went to entirely new levels. Look at the aircraft from A2A. Look at the aircraft from Majestic. Look at the aircraft from PMDG. Look at the aircraft from Flight Sim Labs, and so on and so on. Incredible levels of realism. And look at sceneries from OrbX. Look at sceneries from Fly Tampa. Look at sceneries from FS Dream Team. Again, incredible levels of detail that were unimaginable when the sim first released. So on that side of the community, they continue to support and extend a dead product. on our side of the community, the user basis, we lapped it up. We dove on it and we started buying all of this stuff and adding it to our sim. And we encouraged the cottage industry that is flight sim add-ons. And these two sides to the community working in synergy, supporting each other, meant that a dead simulator continued to grow, continued to pick up new users. There was a thriving market on eBay for boxed copies of FSX up until Dovetail bought it. So that's important, all right? Years and years and years of community support in this. Then it turns out that Microsoft are going to be willing to license the entertainment rights to their Flight Simulator platform. That brings with it two things. It brings with it the ability to build a new simulator, and it brings with the ability to redistribute FSX. And we can go back to Dovetail's original announcement here on my screen. You can see here, back in 2014, Dovetail said that the company is currently investigating new concepts in this area and is expected to bring a release to the market in 2015. That will be Flight Sim World. And in addition to this licensing agreement, Dovetail Games is pleased to announce that it has also acquired the rights to distribute the multi-award winning FSX. So there you go. So it became knowledge that this was available, that Microsoft were open to chats on this, and a consortium of publishers got together to discuss the possibility of acquiring this as a consortium. This is a consortium of add-on producers primarily, some of them competitive with each other, who said that they would band together and work together to continue the life of this platform. They had a vested interest in continuing the life of this platform. They understood the community, they understood the user base. One of the companies in that consortium is PMDG and Robert Randazzo. This came out in his announcement this week where he slammed Dovetail after they announced that this product had gone away. Anyway, this consortium got together and approached Microsoft. Things were going well. Dovetail Games came along and put in a considerably higher financial bid. Now, Dovetail, a company with zero experience in flight simulation, came along and outbid a consortium with decades of experience in flight simulation. Why? Because they see flight simulation as a rich genre, something they can exploit and make money off. Now, let's follow that a little bit. I've been doing a little bit of research. Here's Flight Sim World's homepage on Facebook. I went back through Flight Sim World for the past just 2 months, right? 2 months. So we go back to like March the 8th. They put up a Facebook post saying, buy our DLC. Bear in mind, Flight Sim World, although it's technically out of early access and in phase 2, whatever the hell that means, it's still basically unreleased, unfinished software. March the 8th, buy our DLC for our unfinished software. March 13th, buy our DLC. March the 20th, look at the box version we're going to have for sale. Basically, buy it. March 22nd, buy our DLC twice. On March the 22nd, they put out 2 announcements saying, buy our DLC. March the 23rd, the next day, buy everything we have, it's on sale. March the 26th, buy everything we have, it's still on sale. March the 28th, buy our DLC. March the 30th, our product's not released yet, but you really should buy our DLC. April the 6th, you didn't buy our DLC, it's okay, buy everything, it's on sale once again. April the 8th, you should buy some new DLC. Interestingly, April the 11th, we're looking, this is a quote, we're looking to the future of flight, building a simulation platform for the future. April the 11th. Think about that, 2 weeks ago. April 19th, look what Blue Sky Sims, our partner, is bringing as DLC to Flight Sim World. April the 22nd, look at our new career mode in Flight Sim World, it's incredible. 2 days later, it's dead. What? In the same period, I went back through some of the other Facebook exposed companies in flight simulation. So I looked at A2A, for example. A2A in the same period on Facebook did not post a single Facebook link to sell a product. Not one. The most popular add-on manufacturer in flight simulation did not post a single link to Facebook saying, buy our product. What they did was they showcased how the community are using their products to do great things. And I always said before that my concern with Dovetail is they never got involved in the community. And I brought this up to Stephen Hood because I don't think you've done too much with the community. And his answer was vacuous and non-substantive and basically amounted to, we've read a lot of forums. That is not getting involved in the community. A2A's posts on Facebook over the last 2 months are getting involved in the community. Guys, look what this person's doing. Look what this person's doing. Try this, try that. PNDG over the last 2 months on Facebook. Not one single link to sell a product has been posted. Just development updates. Look what we're doing. Look what we're bringing to the market. You've asked for this. This is what we're going to do. Laminar, the people behind X-Plane, the other big sim. No links to sell a product on Facebook in the last 2 months. What they have done is put up posts pointing out new free features you might not have used before, new betas that are coming, everything free. DCS World, the third sim in the triumvirate of professional sims, DCS World put up 3 links to sell in the past 2 months. The rest, however, were development updates and again, community links. Let's think about this. Of all these other companies who are big players in the world of flight simulation, Dovetail and Flight Sim World use their Facebook page to do what? Sell. Sell, 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 buy our stuff, buy our stuff, buy our stuff. This is a company obsessed with money, which is fine. Companies exist to make money. And this is a company obsessed with getting as much of it as they can out of your pockets. And again, they're a company, that's what they do. But here's the thing. I've worked in a number of startups. I'm currently in a startup. We formed the startup that I'm currently in. I'm not going to give you any details on it just yet. But we formed it with a singular mission and a goal. And that mission and goal was not to get money out of people's pockets. The mission and goal was something else. It was to basically improve the world for our audience. And along the way, perhaps there's an opportunity to make some good money. But we're always driven by that singular mission, by that singular focus, by that mission statement, that mantra, if you like, that we want to do good. We want to do something good and contribute something to the world. It seems to me that Dovetail's mantra has always been make money, make money, make money. As I said, there was a consortium coming along to buy the rights to Flight Sim, to make it better, to extend it. A consortium led by people with a vested interest in this community, outbid by a company who had zero experience. Now, something else that no doubt contributed to the failure of the project on Flight Sim World is the lack of third-party support. I said when the project was released that I had a lot of concerns about how Dovetail were handling third parties, and they never really answered that until later on. They said, well, actually, you can sell your product on your own, but it has to be included on the Dovetail store. Ideally, we would want it on the Dovetail store and the Steam store. Well, from their announcement this week, we've now learned the figures behind that. To have a product listed on the Dovetail store will cost you 30%. To have a product listed on Dovetail's Steam page will cost you 60%. 60%! That's a heck of a rate of tax, isn't it? So if you go ahead and you develop an airport and you want to sell that airport for Flight Sim World and you're going to give it over to Dovetail, it's going to be in their store and on Steam. Dovetail are going to take 30%. Steam's going to take 30%. Your very neat cheapo package for $19, not an unusual price point for sceneries these days, you're not getting 10 of that. All that time and effort that you spend, 60% of the money that you're making for your time, your effort, your research, your study, your sacrifice, your work is going to people who did nothing more than put it on a web page. That's disgusting. And as a result, many of the key players in the industry did not support Flight Sim World. PMDG never turned up with a Flight Sim World product. A2A did not produce a third-party Flight Sim product. Aerosoft did not publish anything as a third-party Flight Sim product. And the list goes on and on and on. This is a company, Dovetail, that was completely in it for the money. And from their point of view, I'm sure it's a great business model. Not only do you have a captive audience who are typically more mature than your typical video game players and have, as a result, more disposable income, a captive audience with nowhere else to go for their add-ons and their software, giving you money for Flight Sim World. You also have this audience, this cottage industry, this captive cottage industry, if you like, of third-party developers who are now going to give you 60% of their money. Well, 30%, still 30 goes to Steam, but going to give you a large chunk of their money as well because they have nowhere else to go. It is a disgusting practice. Dovetail came into this purely to make as much money as they possibly could from everybody. Both sides of the community that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. The thing that strikes me as more insidious, though, as I said earlier on, I'm a developer. I've been on teams that have had cancelled projects. Just looking at the past 2 months of posts on Facebook with all this buy our stuff, buy our stuff, buy our stuff. Okay, looking back with hindsight, the buy our stuff is like, okay, we need to generate some money, otherwise there's a problem. But you know what? April the 11th, we're looking to the future of flight, building a simulation platform for the future. Somebody on their Facebook page posted. That's kind of sick and twisted, isn't it? Given that 2 weeks later the project's cancelled. And I'm sure 2 weeks ago they were talking about, are we going to cancel this project? April the 22nd, 2 days before the project's cancelled. Look at this new feature. You should go get this new feature. You should get the beta. Tell your friends about it. Hopefully they'll buy Flight Sim World. 2 days before the project's cancelled. I also couldn't find it for this video, but looking around, I did find some time ago, January, they were hiring new people onto the team, new developers. Hopefully, if they did hire new developers, these new developers didn't have families that they moved halfway across the country to base in Medway and work at Dovetail Games on a product that's now been cancelled. I am certain 2 or 3 months ago, the writing was on the wall and people were discussing, do we cancel this? That's kind of sick and twisted too. So, Dovetail are gone, Flight Sim World is gone. Well, Dovetail's not gone, but Flight Sim World is gone. End of the story, right? No. Here's where I get very, very concerned. FSX, what happens to that? And what happens to Dovetail's investment? Now, as I said earlier on, there was a consortium of people trying to get the rights to do what Dovetail did, and Dovetail significantly outbid them. So Dovetail spent a vast amount of money to get where they currently are. Dovetail then hired a development team, which I think is about 10 people, maybe more, maybe slightly less. Let's say it's 10 people. Let's say it's an average salary. Let's say it's $500,000 a year that they're paying to this development team. Let's say that's probably conservative. So you've probably got about $2.5 to $3 million just in internal costs poured into this project, plus the massive bid that they gave to Microsoft. And you can bet with a company this focused on making money, they're going to try to get that back. How are they going to get that back? My concern is that they go after Lockheed Martin. Now, as many of you are aware, I have not supported any of you using the academic license for Prepared, ever. I've said that unless you're a kid in school, you need a professional license, and the reason why is what might happen now. Dovetail, in order to recoup their costs, could say that Lockheed, in not enforcing the criteria around the academic license, released a product that competed in the entertainment space that Flight Sim World and FSX are in, thereby contributing to the failure of FSX and FS World when Prepared took off. If that happens, you can bet your ponies that Lockheed Martin are either going to remove the academic license, thereby screwing an entire massive valid section of the user base of Prepared, or substantially increase the costs to cover the money that they're likely to have to pay to Dovetail Games. That would be terrible. Over to FSX now, we have a product that again, we as a community have supported and kept alive forever since it was released. And now it's in the hands of these guys who don't seem to like Flight Sim anymore and seem very obsessed with money, money, money. I don't think they can find a way to make more money out of current FSX users other than trying to convince more and more publishers to sell their stuff on Steam and Dovetail Store. 60% that's going to cost. I don't think that's likely. So what's going to happen? I worry they might just kill it. That would be a tragedy. That would be the end of a legacy and the end of an era. Or would it? There are two in the GA spaces. There are two main contenders for flight simulation GA king right now. That obviously being Prepared, and that obviously being X-Plane 11. I gotta say, in the past, how long have I had this Jetline Systems? A month? In the past month, I have not touched Prepared. Everything I've been doing has been in either DCS World, Combat, or X-Plane 11, GA. I believe we're about to see a significant shift in the flight simulation world, and I think that shift is going to go in Laminar's favor. I think Prepared is a fantastic sim. I think it's got the better range of add-ons and support from third-party developers compared to X-Plane, but I think Lockheed are in a precarious situation, and Dovetail, with their money-grabbing ways, I think, I believe, I hope they don't, are about to try to kill that product as well. As always, my name is Froogle. Thank you so much for watching this rambling editorial rant. Until next time, I'll see you all very soon.